Well, joining us now is Eric Mandel. He's the founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network. You know, Eric, what does Trump's focus on influencing the next Iranian leader signal about the administration's overall strategy in this conflict at this point?
Well, I still think we have to think about this war, that it has a clock on it. I think the president has 60 days before the public, Congress, including Republicans, are going to press for an end to this war. And the war calculation is simple. If this regime collapses, Israel and the United States win. If it survives, which is their goal, then Iran wins. And so the president making these statements, I think he's been known to make very strong statements to create leverage. And I think there is no doubt that we would like to have regime change and a different group there. But most people think that will mean regime change onto some kind of secular democracy. But the easiest choice would be the Venezuela model, where you would have somebody from the regime, from the IRGC, or that would be taking over, and that would lead to an end of war. I think that would be a big mistake. I also think that, I'll be contrarian here, the view that Iran attacked all these Gulf nations that you were mentioning has been a mistake. I think that Iran has calculated that these nations are going to run out of interceptors, and then they are going to pressure the United States to have this war end. And I think they want to kill Americans somewhere to increase domestic pressure to end this war. Because the president is not only meeting defense contractors, as you mentioned, president is going to be going back for supplemental appropriations for tens of billions of dollars for these interceptors and other munitions. And if Americans are dying or the war does not look like it's going well, there's going to be tremendous pressure going forward.
Right. I mean, how serious is that strain on U.S. weapons stockpiles, and can defense contractors realistically accelerate production to actually meet the demand?
I think these are well-kept secrets. You never want to give the perception that you are becoming low on your anti-missile interceptors, and that whether we're talking about THAAD and Patriot from the United States or from Israel, David Sling and the Arrow 2 and the Arrow 3. So I think these are well-hidden secrets. I think the Iranians, this is a math problem here. The Iranians are trying to say, you know, the Gulf is the most vulnerable place. Why? They're the closest. We can hit them with short-range missiles. It looks like the Israelis are prioritizing the targets of middle-range and long-range missile launchers. So that means there are still many more short-range missiles within the radius from Iran. And then there's the drones, which are cheap to produce, very expensive to shoot down, and seemingly there's an endless supply of them. And those Shahed missiles, unless we can get some anti-drone things from Ukraine, are going to be a continuing problem and go past those 60 days I alluded to earlier, when the pressure is going to come up with the president.
At this point, what is the American public saying about the American decision to launch this war on Iran together with the state of Israel? What are polls saying?
You know, it's interesting. I got asked the exact same question on Iraqi and Iranian opposition television. And one of the things I pointed out is a poll is a picture in a particular time, and it depends upon how that question is phrased. I don't think there's any doubt at this point that America is the polarized country, that Democrats overall, including moderate Democrats, have come out against this war and come out with statements about cutting off arms supplies to Israel, like Gavin Newsom, a potential 2028 candidate. And we know about the isolationist wing that has become totally unhinged from the Tucker Carlson group that's there. So the country is, I think, a little confused. I think the president needs to not just say we're winning this war, and we certainly tactically, I don't know if we are yet strategically winning this war, but tactically winning it, to go back and again explain to the American people why this is an American national security interest, and also explain, wow, look at Israel. This is what an ally really should be fighting with us for our interests, and that this is a partnership.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you, Eric, so much for joining us.